Are you thinking about relocating to Henderson, Nevada in 2021? Yes, I said it, 2021. Can't believe we're already there. Well, stay tuned, check this video out. We're gonna go over the top 5 things you need to know before you make your move. Welcome to 2021, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the 5 things that you need to know before moving to Henderson, Nevada. But before we hop into the list, like always, I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate your time, and show me some love. Subscribe to our channel, comment below. I want to know your feedback and how we can answer your questions, anything specifically that we might have missed, or things about the video. But let's hop into that list. Number 1. You want to get pre-approved. If you are relocating to Henderson and you are going to be purchasing a home, the first thing that you want to do, which is the most important part of the home buying process, is get pre-approved. So you want to find a reputable lender, do your homework, look for some reviews, ask for referrals from friends and family. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who's very knowledgeable about the market here in Las Vegas and in Henderson. Each state is very different from the way things work, how fast things move, and just the overall experience. And I can say that because I'm licensed in about 20 states, and things work differently in every single state that we do business in. So just because you might have sold a home back in Georgia, and the process could have taken, who knows, 45 days to close. Here in Henderson, Nevada, things move fast. Agents move quick. Closings need to be done in 30 days or less. I can tell you in the last few weeks, I've even gotten contracts that buyers and sellers want to close in 2 weeks or less. So things are very, very fast out here. So you have to have a lender who understands the environment that we're in, how fast we need to move, because you could be setting yourself up for a failure when you're working with someone who's not responsive, doesn't respond to your phone calls, text messages, or takes a few days just to get back to you with any questions that you might have. So not only do you want to have a good reputable lender, but you want to have a great real estate agent. So one of my recommendations as to how you can find a good realtor is ask your lender. Your lender is constantly working with realtors on a daily basis to close deals. They get leads for refinances and everything else. So one of the great places that I think a lot of people overlook is actually asking your lender for a great referral. Most agents, you may not be able to find them online or on Zillow or be able to find recommendations. So you might have to ask a family friend or even maybe a coworker. But like I said, a great way for a great introduction is to ask your lender because they're going to know who's doing deals, who's actively closing deals in the marketplace. I've even read some stats that the average real estate agent closes 12 transactions a year. This is the biggest purchase that you're going to make. And you're going to put that into the hands of maybe someone who's only doing 1 deal a month. You might want to find someone who maybe has a little more experience or is on a team, but you need someone to be able to help you get through the process. Because like I said, in every state, things are going to work just a little differently. But if buying isn't for you and you're still a little bit unsure of where you want to live, that's totally fine. There's a lot of rentals that are in Vegas, a lot of apartment complexes that you can take a look at. There's a lot of luxury apartments that are actually being built as well. So the cool thing with these apartment complexes that are out here, a lot of them offer shorter term leases. So maybe you know that you want to buy, but you're just a little unsure of what part of town you want to live in. So you might just want to do a 6-month lease. A lot of these places do have those types of options available. Obviously with COVID, you can schedule time ahead, maybe do some virtual showings so that way you can get a better idea of what you're getting into, what the property would look like before you make a trip out to Vegas, and then you're in this last minute rush of what part of town do I live in, who do I go to. So do your homework online ahead of time. And again, even if you guys have questions, you can always ask us. We're here for you. send us an email, drop some comments below. We'd be happy to respond and give you guys some more advice, on this type of rental search. Number 2, Henderson is a 24-hour city. Yes, you need to be aware that this is unlike any other city that you probably lived in. 24 hours a day. You've got grocery stores that are open. You can go to at 2 or 3 a.m. You've got restaurants, bars. Nothing closes here in Vegas. So if you're that type of person that maybe you're a night owl, there's always something to do here. But for you early risers, one thing that I will throw out there, because I've actually had this issue in my neighborhood where I live, is that if your neighbor maybe perhaps works overnight, when they're coming home early in the morning, they need to unwind. That might be something that you're not accustomed to, because maybe the city that you live in, most people work a day job. But here in Vegas, you have people working at all hours of the day and all hours of the night. There was a neighbor in my neighborhood that actually had a problem with someone else's dog because they worked a graveyard shift. So when they'd come home in the morning, the neighbor's dog would be barking all morning when that guy was trying to go to sleep. It got out of hand to where they even started to come around to the rest of the neighbors to see if we could hear the barking, because they actually filed a complaint with the city. So be cognizant of where you're living, who maybe your neighbors are. And if you're visiting Henderson, drive around at different times of the day. And just so that way you can get a better idea of maybe the traffic, maybe the type of people that are coming and going if you're looking at renting in a certain, maybe apartment complex or something. But all these types of things I think we could easily miss when we're making a move, because obviously there's 1,000 things on your mind. But a little tip of something like that I actually had to deal with. So just throwing that out there just to keep you guys in the loop with some things that maybe you might be overlooking while you're thinking about living in Henderson. Number 3, you need to know about the weather. The weather in Henderson, to me, it's awesome. It's fantastic. It's December, we're recording this video, and it's about 50 degrees outside. So if you're coming from the East Coast, where you're used to the snow, or you're getting sick and tired of the snow, you're gonna love this, right? This is probably shorts and t-shirt weather for you guys. Also, the summertime. Summers get hot in Henderson. That's one thing I think everyone needs to know, because it does get extremely hot, and we have temperatures and days where we see 115, 117 degrees. And a lot of people, they always ask, well, how do you deal with it? I always say the same thing. You stay inside. You just try not to go outside as much as possible. For a lot of people, if you're looking for a place to rent or to buy, make sure there's a garage, or else your car's gonna be sitting outside in the heat. But I think the weather is one of the biggest things that you have to be aware of when you move here, because like I said, the summers, it's gonna get hot. There's no way around it. You have to get used to it. If not, that could be a huge drawback for you. But I think in the winters, for a lot of people, it's very mild. We do get into the 30s, into the 20s in the evenings. There's actually been a few times here in Henderson that it actually snowed. The snow it doesn't stick like it does back east or in other parts of the country, but it was something cool that you don't often see here in Las Vegas and in Henderson. So we do have some of those moments, but I think generally speaking, the winters are going to be pretty mild. Just a light jacket is probably fine. Maybe you have a few days here and there where it gets really cold. But other than that, the summers, be prepared for the summers, because that's one thing you will have to get used to. But if you do miss the snow, we do have Mount Charleston, which is about a 45-minute drive from the city. You can head up there, hit the slopes, snowboard, ski, get your fix in if you truly miss the snow. And another thing to be aware of is that the weather here in Vegas, it's very dry. So if you're from Hawaii, like myself, or Florida, and you're used to the humidity, you're not gonna have that here. It gets very dry. My daughter, she used to get nosebleeds a lot, so that's something that you might have to get used to. Guys, if you're not used to putting on chapstick, you probably gotta put chapstick on quite a bit, and you definitely need some lotion, because it does get dry, and if you're not used to doing any of that stuff, Probably in a few months, you know, your hands will probably start to crack, or you just might have some ashy elbows, man. That's just some things to keep in mind. You got to keep it in there. Another thing you need to know as you make your move to Henderson is that there is more to Henderson and Las Vegas than just the Strip. Everyone thinks about that Las Vegas Boulevard sign and thinking that that's all that there is to do out here. But living in Henderson, like we've talked about in some of our other videos, it's about a 20-minute or so drive from the Strip, but you still have a lot of amenities. You can go to Lake Mead, which is a close drive from Henderson. There's tons of hiking out here, tons of trails that you can go walking at. There really isn't anything that you can't find in Henderson that you wouldn't be able to find in any other city, in my opinion. Whether you're an outdoors person, you rather work out, you're more of an indoors guy, whether you like sports, whatever it is, there's everything that I feel that you can do in every city here in Henderson. And last but not least, you need to have transportation here in Henderson. Our public transportation system in Las Vegas, it's not the greatest, and everyone knows that. So if you're coming from a city like New York, where you're used to riding the train or subway, getting around town, you're gonna need a car. To get around Vegas and Henderson for that matter, it's probably a 15-20 minute drive to get almost anywhere in town. You can get from one end of the city to the other in maybe about 45 minutes depending on traffic, but for the most part, you're going to need a car to get you from point A to point B. Unless you work on the Strip and you're living in one of the high rises that are there, then you could probably walk to work. But I think for the most part, for the everyday average person, you're gonna need a vehicle to get around town. But I will warn you, car insurance prices are a little higher here in Vegas. You've just got a melting pot of people that are moving here from all over the country and all over the world for that matter. And there's a lot of accidents. So obviously with a lot of accidents, insurance companies have to price in risk. And when they do that, we have to pay slightly higher costs when it comes to car insurance. So do your homework, shop around when you're looking for insurance and you're registering your vehicle here, because those are some things that can shock a few of you as you make your move. So there you have it, the 5 things that you need to know before you move to Henderson, Nevada in 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video is gonna help you with your move. And as always, if I missed something or if you have specific questions about anything, feel free to shoot me an email, send me a text, drop some comments below. And of course, share this video with your friends and family. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.